Pat McGrath Labs is a billion-dollar anomaly. Behind the artistic genius of owner Pat McGrath lies a complex game of synthetic mica and light physics. But can science-backed artistry survive the pace of 2026 fast beauty? Welcome to Beauty Deconstructed, a series that explores the business and beauty industry through the lens of cosmetic chemistry. This is episode 1. Pat McGrath, Dame of the British Empire, world-renowned makeup artist, and one of Time's 2019 most influential people in the world. You might know her from the glass skin look that she created for John Galliano's 2024 Maison Margiela artisanal show. But she's also worked with celebrities such as Naomi Campbell, Madonna, and created Taylor Swift's iconic red lip. And she's also regarded as one of the most prolific runway artists in the world, partnering with fashion brands such as Alexander McQueen, Prada, and Louis Vuitton. McGrath was first recognized in her teenage years by presenter Janice Long.
I had lots of makeup on, I had loads of blush on my eyes, my cheeks, and really strong mouth, and someone said to me, "Oh, could you do my makeup like that?" And I said to her, "Is that a job?" She said, "Yes, it's a job."
And that's when she realized she wanted to become a makeup artist. McGrath worked through the club scene, garnering experience, and soon worked for British fashion magazine ID, where she met Edward Enninful, who, at the time, was the industry's youngest fashion director. In 2015, she launched Pat McGrath Labs with the goal of bringing diversity and accessibility, especially for women with darker skin tones, to the beauty space. However, her lab was also designed in mind as a platform to, quote, offer limited edition products McGrath wants to bring to the market very quickly. The first product she launched, Gold 001, was first worn in early 2016 at Prada for a gilded lip finish and was priced at the time for $40. The product itself, what McGrath calls a highly malleable formula, featured micropigments mixed with squalane, which improved the feel of the product. It's a highly flexible formula and can be used straight from the palette or mixed with a little bit of the provided Maron mixing liquid, which provides a glossy and molten finish. This mixing liquid is also provided as a way to fix the palette should it break, which McGrath at the time advised would happen. Let's focus in on the product itself. I mentioned earlier that her makeup is made from micropigments. But what exactly are micropigments? In scientific terms, they're called synthetic fluorphlogopite, which I know is a very complicated word to say. This is essentially the man-made version of mica. This lab-made mica provides a couple benefits, such as being smoother and more transparent looking, and also eliminates the risk of child labor from harvesting natural mica. Her special shades, which are the extreme shimmers in the Mothership palettes, aren't your typical pressed shadows. To a chemist, Pat McGrath products are a master class in rheology, which is essentially the study of how things flow. Most mattes use heavy waxes that feel like clay. However, Pat McGrath's matte trans lipsticks use a unique blend of spherical polymers and lightweight silicones like dimethicone and isododecane. These spheres act like microscopic ball bearings, allowing the pigment to glide onto the lip while creating a soft focus effect that blurs fine lines. Most brands use fillers to bulk out their pans. On the other hand, Pat McGrath Labs use high-chroma stabilization, which microscopically coats each pigment particle so that the color you see in the pan is exactly the color that translates onto your skin. She uses ingredients such as this long word, which acts as a binder and film former in her products. This happens in 3 steps. First is the coating. Each tiny particle of pigment is wrapped in a microscopic jacket. Then, the stabilization. This jacket prevents the pigment from reacting with other ingredients in the palette or the oils on your face. As a result, there's a visual payoff. Because the pigment particles stay perfectly suspended and separated, the light reflects off them evenly. That's why her shades often look like wet diamonds rather than glittery dust. Let's look to the business aspect of things because that's what Pat McGrath is under a lot of fire for. In 2018, Pat McGrath Labs is valued at $1 billion after Eurazeo Brands put a $60 million stake into the company. Following with this peak, McGrath Labs quickly faced increasing competition and a shift in market trends that quickly led to its downfall. As of early 2025, estimates place the value of McGrath Labs at about $174 million. In fact, on January 27th, Pat McGrath Labs was actually set to auction off its assets under the company Hillco Global. However, 5 days prior, they submitted a Chapter 11 volunteer petition to the Southern Florida District Court. But what does this exactly mean? This essentially translates to a filing for bankruptcy, but in a more structured and organized manner. Though some may view this as Pat McGrath Labs shutting down for good, this filing actually allows for the business to remain operational while restructuring debt, which indicates hope to remain profitable without liquidating assets. And this all comes during a time when Pat McGrath herself is still an industry leader, as she is currently the director of Louis Vuitton's Le Beauté beauty line. Finally, the verdict. Because what does all of this mean for the future? Well, McGrath's prominent role at LVMH, which is a competitor of her own company, could potentially mean a clash between her priorities. She'll likely stay in this position and remain as a renowned makeup artist. But for her company, well, that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Analysts speculate that she's likely meeting with prospective buyers, or perhaps LVMH itself will try to acquire the company. Also, if the company wants to remain profitable without sacrificing more debt, they might go for cost-saving measures, such as decrease ingredient quality or switch to a more commercialized strategy. In the end, Pat McGrath's greatest formula might not be found in a palette, but in her ability to survive an industry that often favors margins over complete masterpieces. While a brand can be audited, her true artistry will remain insoluble.